I think that the analysts are playing catch up with what David did, which is basically say, listen, they're going to split this thing very positively. And where Comcast can go, I think goes to 40. Because suddenly you have a growth element that you didn't have, and the analysts never give a darn about the balance sheet. They always knew that Comcast has got the best cash flow. So I see a complete re-rating of Comcast as an international player in cable, which is something people like a lot more than current.
Hey, David, any chance that Disney comes back with a higher bid and we get into a bidding war for Sky, or you really think a détente has been reached?
I think a lot of this is signaling, Andrew, and I think that signaling began to a certain extent with that 8K that we reported on Monday, when we also, of course, reported it was highly unlikely Comcast would come back for Fox, but that 8K that Disney filed, or Fox filed, to their proxy, where they added this language about Disney needing to give consent and that might not give that consent to increase any debt load for any further increase in the bid for Sky. Remember, they're at 14, Comcast is at 14.75. I think, to Jim's point, the very nice quote from Mr. Roberts congratulating Disney is more signaling. And I was able to actually call Bob Iger and read the statement to him this morning. He didn't know about it. And so he said, thank you for the call. You can report that you read me the statement. And now he's telling me this is an exciting development. We will now focus on gaining regulatory approvals, closing the deal, and integrating the assets. So
David,
that is Bob Iger this morning.
did he say something nice about Brian Roberts in turn?
No, we didn't have a great connection when we were on the phone. But he said, holy cow.
What?
I think is a nice way to put it. When yeah.
Well, you brokered that, David.
So it was very, actually, it was
paraphrasing,
it was full. It came full circle for me, you know, from the original story to being able to tell Bob that that Comcast has stepped down. Remember, if you want to step back, of course, we got to go all the way back to almost a year ago when Rupert Murdoch and Bob Iger began that romance, if you want to call it that, where it ended up after a lot of back and forth, and our reporting, of course, in very early November on the talks. They got it done. Comcast, though, had the opportunity, did come in there, but did not sway that Fox board with their offer, even though on a monetary basis it was above the Disney bid that was accepted of $28 a share. But then Comcast, of course, as they had made it clear, waiting for the outcome of the Time Warner AT&T lawsuit, and almost immediately after that went the way they had hoped, of course, with Judge Leon saying the deal could go through, came with that $35 all-cash offer, only to be met by what I think they did not expect in terms of price, in how high it was from Disney. It was at the higher end of their range, and the half-cash, half-stock component of it, it was a strong bid from Disney. And I think ever since then, Comcast has been trying to figure out its way here in terms of, well, what do we really need to come back with to overcome their lead on DOJ, given they've already gotten the approval from the regulators here in this country? What do we need to come back with now that AT&T Time Warner is being appealed, and therefore the Fox board might still be a bit concerned about any antitrust ramifications from our particular deal? What do we need to simply come back with? Because it seems like Rupert Murdoch prefers Disney in some way. You know, Iger and Murdoch had dinner together. They had lunch together in London. They seem to be together all the time. And so I think looking through a lot of those different things, guys, they kind of felt like, and this is why we reported earlier this week, it was highly unlikely they would come back, that they're better off focused on Sky. That's where they can sort of do it. And the hope is, and I think Ed also talked about this, we've talked a lot about it, that perhaps you get something here where you do get the deal done at $14.75 for Sky. You get them eventually to sell the 39% of Sky that they own once Disney controls Fox. It will be a great capital raising opportunity for Disney, which will be highly levered, or more highly levered, given the debt they are taking on. And then maybe there's that opportunity, as I've been reporting, that the 30% of Hulu that's owned by Comcast could go to Disney, giving them 90% control of that important asset.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.